こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材は、セルティックの前田大然に関する動画です。現時点は移籍の噂の話に大きな進展は聞かれませんが、プレミアリーグの複数のチームからは興味を示されていることは伝えられています。今回も、ワンリーズファンチャンネルで移籍の話をしていますが、前田大然のゴール関与数は明らかに異常なほどの数字であり、前線からのプレスも魅力だと話しつつ、スコットランドからプレミアリーグに適応することと、移籍金が懸念点でありネックだろうと話します。実際にどのように話しているのか、チェックしてみましょ
う。Okay, so let's get on to where you at, Johnny. Let's get on to Maeda. Now, the rumours are that Leeds United are in a bit of a battle royale with Fenerbahce, our favourite Turkish club, over Maeda. Now, Johnny and others are very, very keen on it. He's probably the most popular player. Now, I don't know if it's because a lot of you guys have Celtic connections. I'm not really sure. Obviously, you've got his Champions League record there as well, which is pretty decent. But he's got 33 goals this season in all competitions. And it's interesting, isn't it, when you look at Maeda, because he would come in to be a left winger. He is obviously, like we know, versatile across the front line. He could play up front. I don't know if he could play up front in the Premier League, to be honest with you. Maybe at certain phases. I mean, him and Aronson in some sort of forward line would just be terriers, really, at some stages in games or cup competitions or whatever. But the problem is, the thing that puts me off is maybe his valuation, 20 to 25 million quid, Fenerbahce, and obviously Jose Mourinho are very interested in him, apparently. The interest seems quite medium. That's why I've got it like that on the intensity level. Leeds are keeping a keen interest. His goal return this year is exceptional. There's been an argument. He's been Celtic's best player this season as well. So would you take a punt on him? I think the big conversation here, and the one that I was going to get onto in a little bit, because I think he operates obviously best off the left. There's a huge risk, and we're just speaking about it there with Chris and a few of you guys when it comes to guarantees. Okay, so I think the only thing that, well, one of the things that holds me back with Jack Rudoni, massive fan of him, but it's a central attacking midfield position / number 8. So I don't really think it's a 10 anymore. It's definitely not a 10 in the Premier League. You cannot afford to have a number 10 in the Premier League. It's just 8s. It's 8s. That's what likes of Odegaard has moulded into. Was a 10, but is now an 8. I think this is where kind of that style of player has to be looked on. That's why I quite like Rudoni, because he can operate deeper quite nicely as well. So he kind of effectively would be an 8 in the Leeds side, 6'2". He's got that physicality that can mesh with the Premier League. That's why I like him. Maeda, I like him off the left. I'd worry a little bit about that transition from the SPL to the EPL. We have to talk about it. It's always going to be there. Always going to be there. Because some players adapt, like some Matt O'Reilly, some players won't adapt. And we've seen that before as well, haven't we? Not just Premier League, but Championship level when they've been unbelievable in the SPL. But yeah, I would hesitate on this one. And the big one for me is off the left-hand side, we're looking at Manor Solomon. Okay? So I think we've got to get this quite nailed in our minds. If we're talking about someone like Maeda, you can't really be talking about someone like Manor Solomon, in my opinion, because you've still got Largi Ramazani, you've still got Willian Gnonto, who operate better off that left, And I would say Gnonto is more of a left winger anyway than a right winger, I think. If you were to ask him what's your favourite position, what would you say your position is? I think it would be cutting in off the left. But even if you want to say he's a right winger, I don't think you can go out and buy Maeda, Solomon, and have Largi Ramazani off that left. I don't think that. So it's a lot. Johnny's come in and said Champions League player. He has the quality. Yeah, he's definitely got quality. I think the big thing about him is it's his pressing intensity. He's a monster when it comes to numbers, and his goal return this season has been great. I think obviously at 27 years of age, you probably will get a big move. I just don't know if it's once again that guarantee, that certainty, like we just spoke about with Rudoni. Is it going to be a certainty? I mean, you would look at when like Newcastle and West Ham are interested in Rudoni, they're projecting a certainty. But Leeds are at very different positions to West Ham and Newcastle when it comes to squad depth and quality. We need to add that, and we need to add effectively guarantees right now. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. And this is going to obviously be the conversation of which we're going to get onto in just a little bit when it comes to the famous central attacking midfielder who we've been linked to about 850 times in 5 years. Kev says, if Maeda goes to Leeds, watch all the conspiracy theories that 49ers bought him to weaken Celtic. It's not a bad point, mate. Not a bad point. Damien says, Buendia price is spot on, but injuries and lack of game time worrying if this goes through. but like other options in the 10-8 alongside him as a comparison. Maeda would be class. It says Mira too expensive though. Yeah, I think that's another big price point, isn't it? If we're looking at Maeda, we cannot be shelling out 20-25 million. That is what Celtic would demand, of course. He's proven it in Europe this year. He's been an absolute lightning rod for Celtic when he's signed, and obviously his goal return has been extravagant, really, this year, and he's a big component up there, obviously, for Brendan Rodgers. So, yeah, as Johnny says, 51 appearances, 33 goals and 12 assists. That is staggering, really, when you look at it. It's 45 goal contributions in 51 games. That is extremely good, extremely good. And we obviously have seen players come down from the SPL. Even when you just look at you look at the Premier League champions, teams have come down from the SPL in Scotland. Robertson, Van Dijk, and been very, very good players at this level. So let's not just cast them aside.
次は解説です。今回も一部文法的に崩れていたり、話すスピードが速いところは聞き取りにくいところもありましたが、いかがだったでしょうか。ボキャブラリーは比較的使えそうなものも多かったので、本日の解説をチェックしてみましょう。
One of the things that holds me back with Jack Rudoni.
ホールドバックは何かを抑えるや妨げるという意味で使われるとても便利な駆動詞です。例えば、悲しさや怒りなど感情をこらえるとき、または人の成功を邪魔するものを表現するときにも使えます。比喩的に前に進むのを止めるものというイメージを持つと理解しやすくなります。進みたいけど何かが足を引っ張っているという感覚を表すのにぴったりです。
One of the things that holds me back with Jack Rudoni. So I think we've got to get this quite nailed in our minds.
ネイルインワンズマインドは心に釘を打つように強く覚えておくという比喩表現です。普段よく使われるわけではありませんが、話し言葉やカジュアルな文脈でしっかり意識しよう。絶対に忘れないようにしようといった意味合いで使われます。似た表現に keep in mind や bear in mind がありますが、ネイルを使うことでより強調された印象になり、ただ覚えるのではなく、決して忘れないように固定するというニュアンスです。
So, I think we've got to get this quite nailed in our minds. So, I think we've got to get this quite nailed in our minds. If we watch all the conspiracy theories.
コンスピラシーは陰謀や共謀といったネガティブな意味を持つ単語です。映画やドラマでは、ガバメントコンスピラシーやコンスピラシーセオリーのように、特定の勢力が秘密裏に何かを仕組んでいるというストーリーでよく出てきます。また、ニュースや法律用語でも品質する単語です。複数人が共に何か悪いことを計画している場面で使われる言葉なので、そのニュアンスを意識して覚えましょう。
Watch all the conspiracy theories. He's been an absolute lightning rod for Celtic when he signed.
ライトニングロッドは、もともと飛来心を意味する単語ですが、日常英会話やニュースでは比喩的に、注目や非難を集める人や話題という意味でよく使われます。例えば、スポーツ選手や政治家など、ある話題の中心となって称賛や批判が集中する人物を指すときに使われます。肯定的にも否定的にも使える便利な表現なので、文脈によってニュアンスをしっかり捉えましょ
う。He's been an absolute lightning rod for Celtic when he signed. He's been an absolute lightning rod for Celtic when he signed. His goal return has been extravagant, really, this year.
エクストラバガントは贅沢すぎる、金遣いが荒い、言い過ぎといった意味で使われる形容詞です。形としては、超えているという意味のエクストラとさまようという意味のバガリーが語源で、常軌を逸していることを表します。金銭的に無駄の多い行動や言葉や感情の旅を越した表現に使われます。フォーマルな場でも使える単語で、否定的なニュアンスを持つことが多いです。
His goal return has been extravagant, really, this year. His goal return has been extravagant, really, this year. 51 appearances, 33 goals and 12 assists. That is staggering, really.
スタガリングは驚異的な、圧倒されるほどのといった意味で、強いインパクトや規模の大きさを表現したいときに使います。もともと、スタッカーはよろめくという動詞ですが、形容詞化することで、思わずよろめくほど衝撃的な出来事や数字に対して使える便利な単語になります。ニュース記事やビジネス、スポーツ、経済の話題でよく登場します。
51 appearances, 33 goals and 12 assists. That is staggering, really. 51 appearances, 33 goals and 12 assists. That is staggering, really. Let's not just cast them aside.
キャストアサイドは放り出す、無視する、見限るといった意味で使われる表現です。感情や考え、計画、人間関係などを捨てたり、重要ではないとして扱わなくなるときに用います。フォーマルでもカジュアルでも使われ、比喩的に使われることが多いのが特徴です。特にビジネスや感情的な場面での断絶や放棄を表す際に重宝されるフレーズです。
Let's not just cast them aside. Let's not just cast them aside.
いかがでしたか？前田大然は、プレミアリーグの中位から上位のチームからの関心も聞かれますが、昇格チームであるリーズユナイテッドにとっても、プレミアで通用するのかどうかが、完全に自信があるとは言えないといったところですね。スコットランドの MVP を取っても、45回のゴール関与があっても、移籍金は2000万から2500万ポンド程度にしかならない、とも感じますし、リーズの立場からすると、少し高いなと思うのもわかる気がします。なかなかうまくいかないのが移籍だとも思いますが、三笘も久保も、中村敬斗も伊東純也も、森田も旗手も、今回の移籍市場で移籍したいと思っている日本人選手も多いと思いますので、今後どのように進展していくのか、どのような驚きがあるのか、楽しみにして、今後も追っていきたいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。